Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to midday news on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Now the news in full. In a move that could significantly alter the political dynamics of Osun State, renowned businessman and technocrat Dr. Akin Ogunbiyi has officially declared his intention to contest the 2026 off-cycle governorship election under the banner of the All Progressive Congress, that is APC. The declaration made before a crowd of party stalwarts, supporters and traditional leaders in Osogbo marks a major political shift as Ogunbiyi positions himself as a unifying force with a vision to deliver accountable and inclusive governance to the people of Osun State. Samuel Odi completes the story.
Addressing a gathering of party faithfuls, political stakeholders and supporters in Osogbo, Ogunbiyi vowed to bring transformative leadership rooted in integrity, economic revival and youth empowerment. This declaration comes aimed at growing political realignment in the state, with Ogunbiyi's entrance expected to stir both excitement and scrutiny within the APC ranks. He emphasized the urgent need for purposeful governance, promising to leverage his private sector experience to drive development across all 30 local government areas of the state. As countdown to 2026 off-cycle governorship election gathers momentum, Dr. Ogunbiyi's entry into the race under the APC is already sending ripples through the state's political landscape. With promises of economic revitalization, youth empowerment and transparent governance, his declaration set the stage for what is expected to be highly competitive and a closely watched contest in Osun State. Samuel Odi, reporting for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives Subcommittee on the Protection of Critical National Assets has dismissed corruption allegations against the Nigerian Electricity Liability Management Company made by the Association for Public Policy Analysis. The Association for Public Policy Analysis, through its president, Prince Will Okorie, had accused the Nigerian Electricity Liability Management Company of financial mismanagement and questions its continued existence 12 years after the privatization of the power holding company of Nigeria, that is PHCN. Aniete Patrick has details.
In a similar sitting, sometime last 2 weeks, Engineer Bayo Ojulari was said to have allegedly avoided the committee, which consequently prompted them to resolve that he must appear before the committee today. Following his perceived usual character before the committee, the Group Chief Executive Officer, Bayo Ojulari, again refused to appear before it, but rather sent the Chief Financial Officer of NNPCL, Dapo Shegun, to represent him. Explaining to the committee why the GCEO did not make it himself, Dapo Shegun said his boss was out of the country for the OPEC meeting. Miffed by the consistent refusal to appear before the committee, he therefore insisted that the GCEO must appear before the committee or risk arrest. Senator Ali Wadada seized the opportunity of the meeting and told the media that the committee is aware of the media campaign carried out by the NNPCL against the committee, where it is accusing the committee of spreading false information that the company has stolen over 210 trillion naira. But Senator Wadada said that the committee never at the time said that the company stole such an amount of money, but rather was investigating an audit financial report of the company from 2017 to 2002.
So as far as we're concerned, that does not stand as a liability figure. And then the asset figure as well. You just gave us vague information based on what is reflected in your audited financial statement.
The chairman of the committee, Senator Ali Wadada, therefore dismissed the sitting and pledged that an official date shall be communicated to the NNPCL for the GCEO to appear. Topsy Jimba, reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigerian House of Representatives and Malawi's parliament are strengthening ties, placing women and youth inclusion and governance at the heart of their collaboration. The Deputy Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Benjamin Carlos, says that the National Assembly is committed to addressing inclusive governance through legislative reforms. He spoke with receiving delegations from Malawi's parliament led by First Deputy Speaker, Honorable Madalisto Kazombo at the National Assembly in Abuja. Aniete Patrick has more.
Speaking during the engagement, Honorable Kalu described the visit as a milestone in advancing parliamentary democracy and deepening parliamentary cooperation. He highlighted Nigerians' push to close the gender gap in politics through the proposed reserved seats bill, a constitutional amendment aimed at increasing female representation at both federal and state levels.
By the success countries like you have achieved by including women and enjoying the prosperity that women inclusion has brought to your government. We are approaching it with what we call the reserved seats bill.
In response, Malawi's Deputy Speaker, Honorable Madalisto Kazombo, called for stronger interparliamentary collaboration and proposed establishing a Malawian High Commission in Nigeria.
We promote the youth, we promote the gender. I'm coming from an independent. I hear Nigeria has a lot of independent MPs. In Malawi, 55 MPs were independent, and I was leading the independent MPs. So we promote democracy in its totality. Democracy at the party level, democracy at national level.
Both leaders emphasized the importance of building vibrant, inclusive parliaments that can hold the executive accountable and deliver on democratic promises. Aniete Patrick, Global Television News.
The Nigerian Customs Service says it has recorded significant progress in its efforts to protect the country's biodiversity and stop the illegal wildlife trade. The Controller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, who was represented by the National Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Mawada, disclosed this while handing over intercepted seized donkey parts to the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency at the Nigerian Customs Service Government House in Cairo, Abuja. Business correspondent Kike Lomo Okere reports.
Addressing newsmen at the event, the Controller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, who was represented by the National Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Customs Service, Assistant Comptroller Abdullahi Miyuwada, says the seizure is part of the ongoing effort to curb illegal wildlife trade and protect endangered species in line with the Nigerians' obligation under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Miyuwada says wildlife trafficking is often connected to other crimes like money laundering, arms smuggling, and other illegal financial flow. He added that Customs is investing in surveillance technology, species identification tools, and digital forensic to support investigation and prosecutions.
Some of the pangolin scales we intercept, some come from Central African Republic, through Cameroon to Nigeria. Nigeria will be used as a transit hub to move these items out of the country via our ports. So those are some of the interceptions now. If you look at the movement of cash, the movement of these items, there is a close connectivity between some of these crimes and other form of criminality. This is where
It reaffirmed the service commitment to enforcing Nigeria's custom law site agreement and environmental regulations. Mewada therefore urged the public, especially those in border areas and transport hub, to report any suspicious activities related to wildlife products. While receiving the seized donkey part on behalf of the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, the representative of the Director General, Professor Innocent Bariko, commended the Nigerian Customs for its unwavering commitment to fight against illegal wildlife trafficking. He noted that such seizures are critical to protecting Nigerian biodiversity and upholding its international obligations on the sites.
That with dedication, strategic partnership, and unwavering commitment, we have significant headway in this vital fight. In the last 6 months alone, we have rescued over 220 live animals.
He reiterated NESRA readiness to continue working closely with customs and other enforcement agencies to dismantle wildlife trafficking networks and ensure that offenders face the full weight of the law. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
A former governor of Benue State and member of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees, Samuel Ortom, has reaffirmed his strong support for the emergence of a Southern president in 2027. Ortom, while commending President Bola Tinubu, acknowledged that the president is steering the country in the right direction. He emphasized the need for bold reform to rebrand and reposition Nigeria. Felicity Ndere completes the story.
Former Governor Samuel Ortom has made his stance on the 2027 presidential election unmistakably clear. The presidency, he insists, must return to the South.
So there is no way you will be in PDP and be in another party and you'll be left. All those people, we have directed them to expel all of them.
During an interactive section with journalists in Makurdi, his first public engagement since leaving office 2 years ago, Ortom stated that he would not support any candidate from the North in the next election cycle.
Even if my party wants to produce a president, let them produce it in the South. Because anything in the North, Samuel Ortom is not there. I did it in 2023. Because I said that it's better for me to lose my senatorial election than to allow a Northerner to be president. It was wrong. We must work together in unity, in diversity.
The PDP chieftain clarified that the party is not considering any coalition but remains open to strategic partnerships that could offer real solutions to the nation's pressing challenges. Speaking on security matters, Ortom defended his administration's anti-open grazing law, describing it as a people-focused policy that helped reduce insecurity in the state.
We say that the way forward is to look at the global best practice. What is the global best practice when it comes to animal husbandry? It is ranching. In Brazil, you have over 290 million heads of cattle. What do they do to maintain peace in their environment and also do farming? They ranch.
Ortom's call for legislation allowing communities to bear automatic weapons for self-defense amid ongoing herdsmen attacks is expected to spark reactions as political alignment and zoning debate intensify ahead of the 2027 elections. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When the Midday News returns, Mali junta leader extends rule till 2030. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Bayo Ojulari, has shown the Senate Committee on Public Accounts to appear before it. The clarity that the reports of 2017 and 2002 to the tune of 210 trillion naira. Topsy Gimbia completes the rest of the story.
In a similar sitting, sometime last 2 weeks, Engineer Bayo Ojulari was said to have allegedly avoided the committee, which consequently prompted them to resolve that he must appear before the committee today. Following his perceived usual character before the committee, the Group Chief Executive Officer Bayo Ojulari again refused to appear before it, but rather sent the Chief Financial Officer of the NNPCL, Dapo Shegun, to represent him. Explaining to the committee why the GCEO did not make it himself, Dapo Shegun said his boss was out of the country for the OPEC meeting. Miffed by the consistent refusal to appear before the committee, he therefore insisted that the GCEO must appear before the committee or risk arrest. Senator Ali Wadada seized the opportunity of the meeting and told the media that the committee is aware of the media campaign carried out by NNPCL against the committee, where it is accusing the committee of spreading false information that the company has stolen over 210 trillion naira. But Senator Wadada said that the committee never at the time said that the company stole such an amount of money, but rather was investigating an audit financial report of the company from 2017 to 2002.
Don't place the 103 trillion. By your records and your presentation, it could not be substantiated. So as far as we are concerned, that does not stand as a liability figure.
The chairman of the committee, Senator Ali Wadada, therefore dismissed the sitting and pledged that an official date shall be communicated to the NNPCL for the GCEO to appear. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
The National Insurance Commission says Nigeria's insurance sector has recorded a 24.9% year-on-year growth in assets, rising to 4.2 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2025, up from 3.3 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. The non-life segment accounted for 2.7 trillion naira, while life insurance assets hit 1.4 trillion naira, reflecting increasing investor confidence. Industry experts say ongoing regulatory reforms and digital adoption has threatened resilience amid economic pressures. Beijing has denied allegation that it directs companies to illegally collect or store personal user data, following a new European Union investigation into Chinese social media platform TikTok. Foreign Minister spokesperson Mao Ning said China upholds strict data privacy law and urged the EU to ensure a fair and non-discriminatory businesses environment for international firms. The probe comes as TikTok, which has 1.5 billion global users, faces heightened security and scrutiny in Europe after being fined 530 million euros in May for allegedly transferring personal data to China, a charge the company disputes. Now on the foreign scene, the International Criminal Court says there are reasonable grounds to believe war crimes and crime against humanity are being committed in Darfur, Sudan. Targeted sexual violence and attacks on civilians have been documented since conflict erupted in April 2023 between Sudan's army and the Rapid Support Forces. The court launched a renewed investigation in 2023, citing an unacceptable and escapable pattern of crimes against ethnic groups fleeing to Chad. Mali's junta head, General Assimi Goïta, has signed into law a bill extending his presidency by 5 years, with no elections and indefinite renewals. The law, passed by a military-appointed parliament, follows a national dialogue widely boycotted by political parties. Goïta's move comes amid a clampdown on political freedoms, including the dissolution of all parties and arrest of activists. United States President Donald Trump has announced a 35% tariff on Canadian goods starting August 1, escalating trade tension just days before a key renegotiation deadline. The move adds to more than 200 tariff threats issued to the United States allies this week, with similar measures expected for the European Union. Canadian President Minister Mark Carney says his government will act to protect its economy, which heavily relies on United States exports. In another development, a United States federal judge has issued a temporary halt to President Trump's executive order seeking to restrict birthright citizens. The ruling grants classification and action status to potentially affected children, allowing a broader legal challenge to breed. This comes after the Supreme Court limited nationwide injunctions but left room for class action suits, prompting swift legal responses. And now, from the world of sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles have slipped one spot to 44th in FIFA's latest rankings, despite gaining nearly 3 points from recent fixtures. They now trail Paraguay and sit just above Cote d'Ivoire, who dropped to 45th. Argentina, Spain, and France remain the world's top 3 teams, while Mexico posted the biggest gain within the top 20. Chiwendu Ihezuo scored an 88-minute winner to give Nigeria 1-0 victory over Botswana at the Women's African Cup of Nations. With 6 points from 2 games, the Super Falcons have secured their place in the quarter-finals. Coach Justin Madugu credited the depth of his squad as impactful substitution proved decisive in a hard-fought match. Chelsea winger Noni Madueke is set to join Arsenal after both clubs agreed to a transfer fee exceeding £50 million. According to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, the England international has agreed personal terms as scheduled for medicals. The move continues Arsenal's summer recruitment push, despite fan backlash on social media. And that's it in Global TV Media News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms, now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.